Happy eclipse and happy full moon in Libra. If you're watching this around the 25th of March, you are very much still within the South Node lunar eclipse energy. It occurred exact at 1 a.m. Mountain Time on Monday, March 25th. And when we have a South Node lunar eclipse, that means that the moon is conjunct or close to the South Node, which is part of an axis, the North Node and the South Node, also called the lunar nodes. And these are points that hold a lot of significance, especially in forms of astrology where we're looking at soul growth and evolution and fate, if you're a believer in fate. Often when we have eclipses, there's some type of profound change that's occurring, whether it's internal, external, all of the above. And there has been a lot of fear-mongering for a long time over eclipses because in ancient times, a lot of really profound and radical events would often occur during eclipses, like kings dying, like empires falling, like really big political charged events would often occur, wild weather, and of course like the sky would change and it was freaky deaky to witness. And so a lot of mythology surrounding eclipses that has really informed our cultural context for what an eclipse means and the way that we kind of feel about it and respond to it. And I want to say before I kind of get into this eclipse that it's not a time to spread fear or to get super in your head and freaked out about what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks for you. Eclipses do happen in pairs, and so while we've just entered the eclipse window, it's going to be a 2-week period stretching until April 8th when we have our new moon solar eclipse in Aries, Libra's opposite. So to get that out of the way, don't freak out. The more you freak out, the more likely you are to see crazy shit happen in your life because our realities respond to our vibes. And so it's a really good time, especially when we're having eclipses on an air and fire axis. Libra being air and, I don't know why I'm pointing up, but Libra being air and Aries being fire. Both cardinal signs where there's kind of like this rush and this movement and sometimes some impulsivity that comes up with Aries, and then often some like kind of humming and hawing and indecision that comes up with Libra. But both are cardinal signs. And so there's a sort of like impulse to it to like make decisions, to take action. And this could be a really good time to bring in earth and water as a way to kind of balance out the intensity of the energy that we might be experiencing in terms of like fire and air. And I say that in part because we do have quite a few players now in Aries. We have the sun because it is Aries season. We have the North Node in Aries, of course, making this lunar eclipse. And then we also have Chiron in Aries, which is conjunct our North Node. And we have Mercury in Aries, now at 23 of Aries. And so that's quite the stack to have, and especially with Chiron, which is an asteroid that's connected to healing, but also to wounding and to aches and pains and parts that can feel very ouchy in our lives, and often the type of material that we can't quite heal. Like the mythology of Chiron is that he was unable to heal his own wounds, and although he was a healer himself, he could not heal himself. And so there's a lot of pain that goes into Chironic material. And with the North Node currently conjunct Chiron, our souls are moving toward it. We're wanting to explore what it means to have stuff within ourselves that might not ever heal. Time doesn't heal all wounds. There's stuff that we have to live with and learn to cope with. And part of this North Node journey with Chiron is illuminating the material that maybe we do have to live with. And maybe we do have to cope with, but we can also create from, and we can transmute, and we can become generators of healing and beauty and art and love and care and connection and empathy and activism. And we can create from that place of wounding, and in doing so, create a more beautiful world, a world that does not hinge on suffering in order to support the few. And so I'd really encourage you to think about, if you know your chart, where Aries and Libra fall in your chart, because the Aries area of your chart is currently getting a lot of focus and a lot of drive, and that will build up and kind of like mount probably until April 8th. And for now, we're looking mostly at the Libra area of our chart, what needs to be let go of, what needs to be released, what needs to be integrated and learned from in order to move toward greater wholeness within ourselves, which could be a very Aries thing, right? Libra is more connected to relationships, to you and me, whereas Aries is connected to me. And so there's a selfhood, there's a self-possession, there's a confidence and a commitment to the self that is really prominent in Aries energy, whereas Libra might focus more on the connection and kind of like bridging the gap and finding ways to like adapt ourselves in order to fit in places that sometimes we're not meant to be. And so if you find yourself being confronted this transit by relationships or dynamics that feel ill-fitting, but you notice yourself kind of like adjusting and overcorrecting in order to continue to fit into that relationship or that job or that project or whatever it is, that's something to flag and just pay attention to. And I say pay attention to and not necessarily act, because eclipse windows aren't always the greatest time to act. It's really a time to pause and to go inward and to examine what's coming up within your life, because again, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of messages that are often pouring through during eclipse windows, and it can be really helpful to just pay attention, receive, and allow yourself to like live more presently. My affirmation this morning was actually about presence, and that's been something that I've really been working on this month. I've been hosting this tarot challenge, and my intention for the challenge was presence. It was about like cultivating this daily ritual where I sit down and I'm really, really present with a single tarot card, with a single major arcana. And so I've noticed that leading into this eclipse window, my ability, my capacity for presence has really increased. And this could be a beautiful time for you to work on your presence, whether that means like being present when you're brushing your teeth and trying not to like plan your day while you're brushing your teeth or multitask. It could be meditating, it could be dancing, it could be creating, it could be spending time with loved ones and just working on getting present and listening. And so while there might be a lot of temptation to make big moves, and if it happens, it happens. Like I ended a relationship, quit a job, and moved out during the Taurus Scorpio eclipses. And I don't regret it. It was the right decision. And so if shit happens, shit happens. And like that's how life goes. But if you have the capacity to kind of hit pause on your strongest impulses and be like, I'll come back to this maybe after April 8th, after I've gathered the intel that I need, that would be a good idea. We do have some lovely stuff happening in the sky. Simultaneously, we have Pluto, which is trine our full moon in Libra and sextile our sun in Aries. And so there is this like evolution that's happening, and quite a deep one. Pluto is deep emotional material. Pluto is power. Pluto is us examining the often like murky, scary depths of ourselves and coming out the other side transformed for doing that. And so this eclipse might really highlight to you some of your relational stuff or some of your like identity stuff that really needs some love. And that could be in a way that's a little bit more gentle. And we also have Jupiter in Taurus forming a really lovely sextile to Venus in Pisces. And so this combo is really sweet. I love it. I mean, I'm a Taurus Pisces person with Venus in Pisces, and so it's like ooey gooey to me. But there is this real like opportunity for like deliciousness, and it might be a good time to treat yourself and to really take care of the body, Taurus, and the spirit, Pisces. And that might mean through a good meal if you can, through art, through dance, through movement. There's so many ways that you can care for your spirit and your body simultaneously. And I would really encourage you to just follow your intuition, follow what feels right, and allow that to lead. Okay, that's all I got. I am going to be releasing more stuff and sending out a newsletter and all that. So if you want to sign up, you can find all of my links in my link tree in my bio. And I love you. I hope you stay well. Bye.